This is a call out for men. Dear men, this video is for you. Well, why am I doing, videos dedicated for men if I'm talking about the menstrual cycle and menopause and female rites of passages and pregnancy and birth and C Labs actually it's been created not to be a woman's channel. It's a channel for all of us because the way I understand the world is that we're co-creating the world we live in. We do that every day. We interact with systems that have been created by somebody. Now we have very established systems. For example, the medical system, we've got political system, we've got the educational system, just to name a few. There are lots of other smaller ways. I don't have to go into the larger systems. Just think about your life. What are the interactions that you have with women? You might have a partner, you might have a wife, you might have daughters, you for sure have a mother. And I hear a lot of men can be really curious about the menstrual cycle, and they can be really curious about what's going on. They actually, most often men go, "Oh my God, I feel like there's been this secret and that I haven't known about my entire life." And a lot of super intelligent, successful men go like, "Where was I?" So, dear men, that's not your fault. It's not just your fault. Of course, nothing can be just the fault of one person. We're in a relationship. The world is always co-created. So, what's the role of men in this? Um, Men are in powerful positions in the world. In the world of systems, in the world of when I think of when I was growing up, and still now, if I think of political leaders, if I think of the financial system, if I think of, there's a lot of very visible people in the world. And when I think of them, I think of men, really, even our philosophers or our geniuses, right? The people that were considered geniuses. So all the names that come when I ask people, like, who do you consider a genius? Who are your favorite philosophers? Who created psychology? Like, if we think of all these things, we can say men, men, men. So, women sometimes go, what were we doing? And that's a ridiculous question, but it's super understandable because if we believe that that's the way that creativity works, and that's the only things that are valuable are the things that we know about, then of course we miss a lot of the invisible work that has been done that hasn't been we don't have ways of knowing. There's no, I wouldn't say there isn't legacy. That's a wrong way of expressing, but there isn't any. Well, the books weren't written, or videos haven't been done, or schools of thoughts weren't formed, and then therefore, over time, we missed a lot of the continuity. What we believe is important, lost a lot of the juice, a lot of what's important, because we have over time distilled to very dry ways of doing things. I like to say to some male friends, if women were actually creating, not just participating in, because when a system is actually established, we have to enter the system as it is, right? If I'm hired by the education system to participate in, I have to participate in something that's established. If I have a tremendous interest in medicine and healing and have always done since I was young. But now I would probably fight if I studied medicine. I would probably have fought with most of my teachers most of the time because there were some things that I just couldn't understand. I couldn't understand the foundations of allopathic medicine. To me, were flawed, and I couldn't quite understand as a younger woman what was being missed. So it took me a long time to go like, you know, the foundational thought for medicine is actually flawed. The body is not mechanical, right? Is a system. It's an incredible magical system. So if you have each doctor studying their own in their own silos, if you have somebody specializing in gynecology and then somebody specializing in the endocrinology and somebody else specializing in the heart, um, for me, I could never understand that, and it took me a long, long time to go, oh yeah, of course, it's women are relational, we are, our minds are relational, our, it's not just a nice thought. We're built, the hormonal system that we have in our bodies make us relate with the world in a different way. So when women are put into contexts that they have to fit into that context, and they have to, and we, I would say, speak for myself, and I have to fit into a context or established system that doesn't quite understand how our minds and our capacities work. We're constantly squeezing ourselves to fit into something that's much smaller than what we can give. We can give way more when we're open and relaxed and creative. So I'd say that there's even the work ethics that we have, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, all of that seems rhythmless to me. It follows, you can say it follows the circadian rhythm, cortisol is high in the morning and it's low at night. So that would suit more a male body that has the circadian rhythm as its primary cycle. But a woman really moves with the world in a different type of rhythm. Of course, she has the circadian rhythm, but she has her menstrual cycle, which will shape the way she's interacting with the world. And it will be, it's very linked, of course, with the circadian rhythm, of course. And the disruption of the modern day constructs that we live by, having a very, very fast paced world that doesn't honor the rhythm and the pace that a woman has inbuilt in her body. This is causing the woman's body, the physiology, the biology, actually our bodies, but our bodies and our minds are one thing. So it contracts our minds to a way that we're constantly in survival. I'd say that a lot of women in modernity are in survival. And I'd say the men are too. The caveat with that is that we're both not doing great, let's say, in modernity. But because the rhythm of modernity is so counter women's biologies, and a lot of men are the ones in positions of power to make the decisions that will impact a woman's life. If you don't know about it, if what I'm talking about it here is only in the silo of gynecology, or in the silo of how to how to feel better as a woman, or if I named this hormonal feeling better with your hormones, a man would never, watch this video, would never grab a book. And I'm saying, men, dear men, you need to do this. You need to start really, you can start first by being curious about your environment, being curious with the women around you. You can start asking them questions. If you have a door, if you have space in your life to ask questions. If you've never seen your wife having her period, that's interesting. I'm saying that because that's how it has been taught. It's not, I don't judge the legacy that where we come from. You know, I don't think I've ever seen my mom's blood in the toilet ever. So she taught me the same way. Now, of course, the menstrual cycle, menstruation is just one time of the whole menstrual cycle, which is a 28-day cycle. It can be longer or shorter, but it's around similar time to a lunar cycle. If you don't know anything about the cyclicity of woman, how she's gonna be feeling the during the follicular phase of her cycle. So it's the phase where there's more movement of growth and expansion inside of her, and the production of the lining of the uterus for potential fertility, for potential fertilizing the egg. Then the egg is released in ovulation. Then the egg is not fertilized. The lining of the uterus is not needed anymore. So there's a descent energy. So there's an ascent energy and there's a descent energy. These two energies that a woman lives with for the whole time, for 40 years of her life, so pretty long time, a man is men are completely oblivious to that. And most men that I talk to, they're very interested. So, I think we need to start having these conversations so you can start going, wow, maybe I have been blinded to this. And if I'm blinded to this, what can I do? Because what happens is when men are blinded to this, they expect women to be in the world like they are. So then the way they'll frame the woman, if she's not behaving, consistently in a particular way, he'll say, "Oh, why can't you do this?" Or so you can start the blame. And the woman on the other side, she can be blaming too, because even though she might not have conscious awareness of her own rhythm, because we have been disconnected, she resents it because she's like, "What is he expecting?" So these conversations are very, very important to be had in families, in groups of friends, and to start really being humble, and also there's a lot of humility. I really lived with a lot of disconnection from my cycle and from my menstrual cycle until I was 30. And of course I knew it, of course, the practicalities of it, but I didn't know the nuances. And because I was so overriding my body, I was partying or going out and studying and working and busy. When you pump a woman's body with adrenaline and cortisol the whole month, her cycles are disrupted. It's a very intricate cocktail of hormones that it's like a symphony. It's very beautiful. Um, the dance of hormones that a woman has inside of her. And if you're curious, there are more videos that I'm going to do for women and for you, and not especially for you. But this one is an invitation for you to come to the channel, for you to subscribe to the channel, for you to share this with your friends and talk to your wife, talk to your daughters, and talk to people around you, because even it might mean that you could change something in your business, that you could start having conversations with women and go like, if you're unaware of menopause, for example, maybe click on the menopause video and become more aware of what's going on for a woman during that rite of passage. And maybe you can make your business a business that's much more suitable for that phase in a woman's life. I believe that we're in a phase in the world that we really need to be working together, and for that, we need to understand one another. And that's exactly why this invitation is for you. And please subscribe to C Lab. I've got a Substack, C Lab. You can find the link below. Subscribe to C Lab, because that's where the conversation is going to happen. It takes all of us to build new culture, and a culture that includes the cyclicity of women as a fundamental part of it. In the context of modernity, it feels like a very big ask and a very big thing to do, and it will take, all of us and a long time. But for the sake of our daughters, for the sake of our sons, I think we owe our kids and the planet this, to reconnect to rhythm, to reconnect to beauty, to reconnect to the sacredness of birth and death, and all the beautiful things that women are here to remind us of. Thanks for watching.